It is Celtics versus Sixers. It's a very familiar matchup, but one we're talking about. Let's do it right now. Well, welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Wa2K99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. If you're brand new, welcome aboard. Please like and subscribe. If you're returning, welcome back. I appreciate your support. So I wanted to do a special video previewing the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. We've already done our video on the Knicks versus the Heat. I felt it was only fair to give the other two teams a little bit of attention and a little bit of analysis as well. So we're going to break down this series just like I did with the Knicks Heat video, and there'll be a link in the description for that video. I'm going to give you 5 keys to the series. I'm going to offer you my prediction. So let's get right into it. So if we go by the regular season record, the Celtics won 3, the Sixers won 1. Overall record pretty close. Celtics went 57-25, Sixers went 54-28. The series tips off Monday night, 7:30 on TNT from Boston, my favorite town in America. So after running neck and neck, I'll be back there this fall for my college reunion. I look forward to going back in all seriousness. So after running neck and neck with each other for most of the regular season, the Celtics and Sixers will meet up. They have met over 20 times before in the postseason. You know, plenty of talent on both sides. You've got Joelembiid and James Harden for Philadelphia. You've got Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown for Boston on the other side. And no doubt whoever wins this series is going to be favored to represent the Eastern Conference in the NBA Finals. So let's get to our 5 keys. Number 1 is Boston shooting 3-pointers. If you want to get a simple indication of how Boston is playing, look at their 3-point statistics. When the Celtics hit at least 40% of their 3-pointers, their record was 34-2 in the regular season and the playoffs. When they hit under 40% from 3-point range, they're just 27-24. That is stark. Okay? Now, considering Boston averaged 10 more 3-point attempts than Philly did in the regular season, the Celtics are likely to already have an edge in shooting from the perimeter. So if Boston can have a couple of hot shooting nights, it's going to spell trouble for the red, white, and some shade of blue. Number 2, how is Boston going to configure their primary lineup? They can go big, they can go small. So they have a very deep team, just like the Knicks do. So Joe Mazzulla, their head coach, has options. So he can look into different ways of deploying his players. So the mountain in the middle to handle is Joel Embiid. How is he going to handle it? We already know 4 of the Boston starters. You've got Marcus Smart, you've got Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and alhorford. The question is, would he go with another big player in Robert Williams III? That's what he mostly did last year, or he could go with a smaller player in derrickwhite. Now, that's how the Celtics played against Atlanta. They went small, and it took them 6 games to dispose of the Hawks. Now, if you have 2 bigs on the court, it can help contain a hobbled Joel Embiid. But the defense first Williams, because Williams is a very defensive-focused player, you know, Embiid is not going to have to worry about playing as hard defense if he's trying to stop Robert Williams, okay? Whereas if you go with derrickwhite, you can force Embiid to have to move around a little bit more if White is driving to the hoop. But then that, in turn, can make it a little bit harder for the Celtics to guard Embiid. So you got to kind of pick your poison here. So whichever path Mazzulla goes, that's going to play a very pivotal role as well in terms of the flow of the series. So that's number 2. Number 3, we're going to talk about a Philly player or two. James Harden finishing. This stat stunned me. So even though Harden was able to, drive to the rim against his old friends, the Nets, he couldn't finish. He only shot 24% of his layups in round 1 against Brooklyn. He has got to be a better finisher against the Celtics, if the Sixers are going to survive in this series. And number 4 is Tyresemaxey, the Philadelphia guard. So he is in his 3rd season. And the Kentucky Wildcat has become a very explosive young scoring guard, but the Celtics have been his kryptonite. It's been unbelievable. Maxey is a combined 17 for 48 shooting across 4 games against Boston this season, including only 9 for 32 over the last 3 games. The reason is the Celtics have these long, rangy bigs to throw at Maxey, including Smart, Brown, White. They've worn him down defensively, and with Embiid hurt, Harden and Maxey are going to have to really lead this offense. Now, as far as Joel Embiid's health, that's going to be my 5th and probably my most obvious point, but I do want to talk about it a little bit. The Celtics haven't said a whole lot about the injury and how he's doing. It is a sprained LCL in Embiid's right knee. But Embiid averaged 33.1 points this season, won his 2nd straight scoring title, averaged 10.2 rebounds per game, tied a career high with 4.2 assists per game, played in 66 games. That's the 2nd highest total of his career. And here's the thing, he plays well against Boston. Here are his stats against Boston this year. 36.8 points per game, 11.8 rebounds, 4.3 assists, and even with those stats, it was only enough for 1 Philadelphia victory. So Embiid needs help. Whether it's Maxey, whether it's Harden, whether it's pjtucker, tobiasharris, somebody's got to step up for the Sixers. So here's my prediction. The Celtics have a lot of depth on this roster, so while Tatum and Brown are the two-headed monster, they can also go to White, to alhorford, to marcussmart, Malcolm Brogdon, the NBA 6th Man of the Year. They have Grant Williams. I think it's just too much depth for them. And even if Embiid is healthy, I don't think a healthy Embiid is enough to beat Boston. I'm going to pick Boston in 6 to win the series and advance to the Eastern Conference Finals against the New York Knicks. Well, those are my thoughts. I want to see yours. Put them down there in the comments. Who wins this series? What will you be watching for? What are your keys to victory? I want to thank everybody for watching. Check out the Knicks versus Heat video. That'll be up as well. I'll see you right back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair.